So you want to talk to aliens too, huh? That's why you're looking at moving headlights? Okay, well, let me share the secret and how to contact UFO.
What are you doing? Never mind. I don't want to know.
Hey everybody, Kyle here from BF Light Shows. Excited today to test out the outdoor and indoor moving heads available at yourpixelstore.com. On the left we have the 230 watt indoor moving head, and on the right we have the 350 watt outdoor. The indoor model, it uses a 230 watt bulb. It is an IP rating of 20, which means it is not waterproof. It has 16 channels for DMX. It has 14 options for the color wheel, 17 options for the gobo. It uses ultra high-speed motors. This model moves clockwise. It weighs about 45 pounds, and it does require domes. The outdoor model is 350 watts. It has an IP rating of 65. Its operating temperatures are from -20 through 40 degrees Celsius. It also uses 16 channels for DMX, although the channels for the outdoor and indoor models are different. It also has 14 options available in the color wheel, 17 options for the gobo effects. This model moves counterclockwise, so it moves the opposite direction of the indoor model, and it weighs about 62 pounds. If you're using the indoor moving heads outside, you need to have them in some type of dome. Otherwise, so in order to avoid blowing these up, we are using the hard acrylic domes from your Pixel Store. They also carry a cheaper inflatable option. I don't have any experience with those, so I'm not going to go into using those. But the hard acrylic domes have 4 cables coming out of the back of them. They have 2 for power in and out, as well as 2 for DMX, also in and out. This will allow you to daisy chain your moving heads from one another. Inside the base itself, it has a power connector to connect to the moving head. It has a fan to help remove any condensation and keep the unit cool in warm climates. It also has DMX in and out, so that way all of your connections inside the dome to the moving head will stay weatherproof and watertight. When you are connecting these, keep in mind that you have the power for the moving head as well as the motors, the domes, the fans, all of that type of stuff. So you can get about 4 moving heads per circuit in a standard 110 environment. So if you're using 8, you'll probably need 2 circuits. These things also weigh about 27 pounds. At the end of the video, I will post some screenshots of how these models are configured in X-Lights. They both use 16 channels, but the channels are different and they rotate different directions, so you have to have the right model for your style moving head. You also want to pay attention to how you physically install the moving head outside. The general rule of thumb is you want to use DMX value 128 to be facing directly over the crowd. This will allow you to have the widest range in motion for your moving heads. If you start them directly facing the crowd, you are going to be limited how far left or right you can go, and vice versa. So we have a series of tests to show. We have some in slow motion. We have some on this test bench here, as well as we have it physically installed outside so we can actually see it in the elements. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we got the pan test. Starting out, they are facing the left and they move to the right. This is a 180 degree test, and I shortened the interval of the effect so you can see the indoor moving head is moving the full 180 degrees, but the outdoor model, the duration of the effect is not long enough for the outdoor model to physically move the 180 degrees. If you look closely, it's a little under 90 degrees, and This could play a big impact in your show if you are using a sequence vendor that is sequencing for a different style moving head. The next test we have is the pan and tilt test. We did this one in slow motion so you could really get a sense of the speed difference here. Both models are set facing the left, and tilt is set at 128 DMX or straight up, and it goes to 0. So you can see the indoor model is doing the full sweeping motion, and it is almost completing that full sweep and resetting before the outdoor one even starts moving. And it sounds like I'm beating up on the outdoor one. I am not. It is still a good model. It's 350 watts where the indoor one is 230. So we're going to check brightness in just a bit. But if you are going for overall speed and that is the only thing you care about, the indoor model hands down is the winner for that. So let's go take these things outside and see how they do in a real show environment. The first thing we're going to look at is the beam itself. So in the middle, we have the 350 watt outdoor beam. On the outside, left and right, we have the 230 watt indoor. The outdoor beam does look a little more defined, maybe a little bit better focused. You could probably play with focus on the indoor and outdoor models to get them to match a little bit better, but this was just a quick test and the beams show up really well. The next test we're going to do is a pan test. This will be a similar test to what we did inside. Moving from the right to the left, the starting DMX effect has a 5-second duration to get them into position, and then the rest of the DMX effects are a 1-second duration. You can see the indoor models are moving the full 180 degrees, but the outdoor model is not quite making it to 90. The duration of the effect is not long enough for the outdoor model to keep up. Next up, we are going to do a tilt test. We are going to use DMX values 128 and 0 to point straight up and then go straight down. We also have the 5-second duration at the beginning and then 1-second intervals. And you can see the outdoor model is not even making it halfway down in that 1 second. And the last one we're going to do is the same pan and tilt test we did. Moving 180 degrees on pan, 90 degrees on tilt, also with a 5-second duration to get them into position, followed by 1-second intervals to do these tests. And you can see the indoor models just are significantly faster at getting into position and responding than the outdoor model. Let's take a look and see how that looks in slow motion. I added a screenshot of the sequence. We have 2 5-second duration effects at the very beginning to get them into position and then turn the dimmers on. The indoor and outdoor models are set up differently outside, so they are using different values. The outdoor model uses pan 214 and pan 128, while the indoor is using 86 and 172. So there is our 180 degrees of difference, and you can see in the slow motion the indoor are still moving that full 180 degrees and the outdoor is not quite making it to 90. We use the exact same timing for our test with tilt. The values for that, again, are 128 and 0. That allows us to point straight up and as low as they will go. One thing I noticed is the outdoor model do not point as low as the indoor models. They have a little less range of motion in tilt than the indoor models. As you watch this sequence, you can see the indoor models are doing the straight up and almost straight down, where the outdoor model is aiming straight up, but it is not going as low as the indoor model. So as promised, here are some screenshots of the indoor as well as the outdoor model inside Xlights. If you have any questions on how to configure these, feel free to send us a message, or you can message Miner at your Pixel store. Hopefully this video was helpful and answered any questions you may have about the differences between the outdoor and indoor models. I want to say thanks to Miner for allowing us to test this out and put this video together. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.